And finally, our final segment of today's podcast. Like I said, it's a long podcast today, but there's just so much to talk about, and I'm really excited to talk about all these different things with you. Now, this one is really interesting. There have been some really positive things to talk about on this episode of the Access Blockbusters Pod, and there have been some things that I haven't, enjoyed as much. Rings of Power, Minecraft trailer, etc. This is something that falls in the middle, because the first reviews for Joker 2, Joker FOLIE A DEUX have come out, and they're not that positive. I would have expected, and to be fair, I didn't remember this. I remember that Joker 1 had a Rotten Tomato score that wasn't as high as most other Oscar-nominated films do. And I didn't remember, to be fair, that film had a 69% Rotten Tomato score, because that's not high at all, especially for a film nominated for Best Picture. So in hindsight, right now, the reviews, I'm on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and what we're gonna do in this segment is we're gonna read through the little blurbs, of these, because I also am in the position where I don't want to know much about these films, and I found that if I read more reviews, people just kind of inadvertently spoil things and reveal things. So we're just gonna read the little blurbs that they put out, some of them, for Joker FOLIE A DEUX. But right now, I'm on the Rotten Tomatoes page. It's coming out on October 4th. So actually, these reviews are pretty early for this film. And it has a 61% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is fresh, barely, but it's not really outstanding. So it's just interesting to hear about that, because this was a film that, obviously the first one makes $1 billion. And I don't think, if I had to guess, this film makes $500 million, maybe. I could be wrong. This film might just make $3 billion for all I know, because the first film I would have thought would have made like $300 million. So it made $1 billion, and it just blew my expectations out of the water. We'll have to see what this second film does in terms of box office, but I don't really know what to expect, and I really don't know. I'm even more confused now, because the reviews have come out. For some reviews have come out, and they're fine. Like, some are really positive. A lot are pretty middling on the film, and a good few are pretty critical of the movie. So I'm just going to go through, read some fresh ones, and then we'll transition to some, or we'll just kind of read them as we go, because I think it's a pretty decent mix. I'll read a couple fresh, and we'll go to a couple rotten, and we'll kind of go that way. So let's see. This first one up here that I'm going to read is from, let's do Screen Rant first. So Screen Rant actually wrote a positive review, and the little blurb says, "It seems like Todd Phillips targeted FOLIE A DEUX directly at the audience who got a little too into Joker and made it to antagonize them." Sorry, I can't read today. I think that's interesting. It also, Screen Rant also gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which is not, because these little blurbs aren't always just about what they think about the film. It's sort of just what they think will be little pithy things to write. So 3.5 out of 5, not the best. Let's move on to the next fresh review. "We're left with the tragedy of a broken man in a world only interested in sensationalism. It's a big swing for all involved, but all the better for it." So this one is pretty positive, right? 4 out of 5. Next one is rotten. "It begs the question, why is Phillips so reluctant to embrace that this film is a musical? Why not add a little more color, some flourish to the production design?" That's interesting, because one of the bigger swings that we thought this film was going to take was that it's going to be very musical adjacent. Todd Phillips has always, been on record of saying this isn't a musical, but music is going to be a very heavy part, big emphasis of the film. So I'm very curious to hear that this is not a traditional, or it's not leaning into the musical part of it as much as we thought. Next review is also rotten. It says, "It is not that this version of Joker is inherently wrong, but it is uninteresting. Please let us be done with this." So that's a big yikes, right? 2 more positive reviews, and then I'll read 2 more negative reviews, and we'll kind of discuss what all these are kind of talking about in totality. So this is a positive review, and it says, "It seems like Todd Phillips," I just read that one. Let's read another positive one. It says, "It feels remarkably honest and true to itself." Okay. That's pretty good. "Demonstrating again that taking such a popular character seriously is nothing to laugh at." Okay, pretty good, right? That's not bad. Let's read another positive one. "FOLIE A DEUX can't quite match its predecessor for dizzying impact, but it matches it for horrible tinderbox tension." That's a really interesting turn of phrase there. Tinderbox tension. I wonder what that is referring to. But I mean, I guess the first film had a lot of tension in it. Whether or not you liked it, it had a lot of tense moments in it. So anyways, continuing on with this. "It's a film you feel might burst into flames at any given moment." I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm assuming that's a good thing, right? Let's read another positive one. "Joker still has a trick up its sleeve. even a serious subtext, which I think we all kind of assume that this Joker film, I mean, the first one had some serious undertones, really serious topics to deal with. So I think we all assume that this one would have that as well. Anyways, this continues. The best moment comes late on in an incredible scene, I think is what they meant to say. So that's interesting. Let's read a couple more negative reviews, little blurbs, and then we'll talk about what they all kind of represent. So this one just says an overindulgent musical. So this one says it's a musical. An overindulgent musical that lacks the punch of its predecessor. Ouch. Okay. Let's find one more negative one. This one says Phillips is just incapable of delivering the genre's requisite razzle-dazzle that would surely complement Joker's persona. Now, this negative review, I haven't seen the film, and maybe I would say the exact same thing. That review, though, feels like it just kind of misunderstands, and I haven't read the whole review, to be fair, but it just kind of feels like it misunderstands what this film is trying to do in subverting the genre. But yeah, we it has a 61%. So you're going to read 6 positive reviews, and then you're going to read 4 negative ones. It's a wide mix of reviews that, frankly, run the gamut of this is insanely original, it has something very serious and important to say, to this is boring and trite, and we should just get over it, and we should stop making films like this, which I think is so weird and so such an odd, eclectic mix. And I suppose, should we have expected anything less? I mean, honestly, I was expecting, more critical acclaim from this film, but to say that, look, I mean, this is a film that, like, you some people think they got it, and some people just are like, there's nothing to get here, I think kind of strangely matches with the character of the Joker. Now, with my personal anticipation, I was not the biggest fan of the first Joker. I understood what it was going for, and I appreciated Joaquin Phoenix's performance very much, although I still maintain Adam Driver for Marriage Story should have won Best Actor. Not to say Joaquin Phoenix did a bad job. He did an amazing job. But I was never the biggest fan of the first Joker film. And so when they were making a sequel, I thought you got to make it different, like make it something that's worth our while. And I thought the trailers really did that. I thought the trailers for Joker FOLIE A DEUX were quite impressive, leaning into the wackiness, the music, and everything like that. But to hear these reviews are a little bit discouraging. I'm still going to go in with pretty much the same expectations, so just an open mind and be like, okay, surprise me is really what it is at the end of the day. But I'm not going to lie and say that these reviews really raised my expectations. They didn't. I'm just very curious to see what kind of film Todd Phillips has cooked up for us. So we'll see Joker FOLIE A DEUX in about a month, and I'll give my review and we'll talk about it then. But guys, let me know in the comments down below, what are you thinking about Joker FOLIE A DEUX's first reviews? Are you excited by some of the more positive ones? Are you discouraged by the negative ones? Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, that will conclude one of the longer episodes of Access Blockbusters Pod. If you have made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for doing so, and spending some time with me talking about all these different topics. And please, I keep saying it at the end of every segment because, I take those segments and I post them as clips on the YouTube channel. I say it at the end of every segment because I think it's important to me. Please comment down below with your thoughts. I respond to almost all of them. I really enjoy interacting with you guys, and I just love, talking about these things. And so, let me know what you think about the podcast. Give the video a like, subscribe to the Access Blockbusters YouTube channel. And with that, guys, thank you so much. Access Blockbusters episode 39. I will see you guys in the next one.